morning and welcome to The Point. It is Tuesday, August 17th, 2021. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11 and 20. Good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9 and all the folks joining us on Party Grenada and Go To Fet Facebook pages. It is Tuesday, August 17th, 2021, and this morning it's an open phone line program here where we give you, our viewers and listeners, an opportunity to call us or message us with anything that you'd like to share. This is your opportunity to do so. So the landline number, it's 435-2041. The WhatsApp number, it's also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp. No voice notes, no voice or video calls, no YouTube links, no videos or pictures. Only written messages on the WhatsApp. Please, I will share it with our viewers and listeners. Once you write it out, just take your time and write it out. Please, no calls on the WhatsApp. Can't facilitate it on the platform. And you can also participate in the open phone line here by posting your comments, questions, queries, concerns on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Let's go to our first caller of the program. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Good morning. How you do?
Good enough to want to leave.
Amen. All right, go right ahead.
Yes. I know maybe you and I would be vexed with me. I don't care if you're vexed with me since I'm talking what I know and what I believe to be right. Now, I usually listen, and I've always said listening is a skill. There is quite a difference between hearing and listening. When you listen, you analyze, or you're supposed to analyze everything that somebody says. Now, I find in my listening to different programs that people are using words which people cannot understand. Or if you are trying to educate people, you have a right to use the words within the range you think they could understand. For example, I try to think of some words now. When you hear some of us talking, maybe I include myself too, maybe, whether in health or in other aspects of education, we communicating to the ordinary man, and we saying, talking about disease, and we say it's highly contagious. What do poor little me know about contagious? Why not use ordinary simple words? So this could be a problem why we cannot get people to take the vaccination and do not understand what they mean. So we have to try to break down the words. In fact, some of us choose people who could hardly talk, underline the word hardly. In other words, pronunciation and diction and phrasing and getting the right words at the right time, they do not bring them. So they stutter. And this is what I've listened to people trying to educate people about disease and germs and virus. Okay. It's time that the people have to put the right type of people to communicate the right word. For example, let me give you one. I know that you wouldn't like to hear that. Now, when I was younger and I was involved in a particular field, I heard some people gave some other people, I don't want you to make it too plain, saying that physical education lessen pent-up feeling. And I questioned that to a group of people, and they were stunned. They didn't even know what they mean by pent-up feeling. Why not use a simpler language? This is why we cannot get people to take the vaccination.
All right.
That's one thing. Anyhow, thanks for giving me a little bit of time.
Thank you.
I not have appreciated.
Thank you very much. That is incorrect. Caller, you got your 3 minutes to say what you had to say. So it's not that I don't appreciate. Stop making these things when all you don't know how I'm thinking or feeling. I wish y'all wouldn't do that. Okay. Caller, what I can tell you, this is an opportunity for you to expand, not just you, but for people to expand their vocabularies. Especially when you're talking about something of an international of international importance, something like the COVID-19, you will be hearing conversations and information from not just people in Grenada, but from international organizations, individuals, talking heads. And they would all be using roughly the same words: contagious, what was the one everybody was asymptomatic. And this is an opportunity for us to expand our vocabulary, because even if locally we say, instead of contagious, we say easily spread, asymptomatic means not showing any signs of the virus. When it goes to international coverage, they will be saying contagious and asymptomatic. So it's an opportunity to expand our vocabularies and learn these things. That's what the dictionary is for. That's what Google is for. Whatever platform you use to educate yourselves, this is an opportunity for us to do that. And not just for COVID-19, but everything else. Sometimes when I read a book and I see a word I haven't seen before, I would Google the meaning. Or I hear it, I would Google the meaning, take notes and Google the meaning. Just expanding our vocabulary. One of the reasons why I do Word of the Day, so that we can all learn and grow together. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Morning to your listeners and your viewers. Now, Blossom, there's a sort of dichotomous situation. I hope I'm not using too much big words.
I was about to say use a simpler one.
Okay, but you see, it's the opposite. I mean, we create confusion by, on the one hand, we want people to behave as if they know everything. On the other hand, we resent people who don't know certain things. And that's a problem. So you play between a rock and a hard place or something like that. But anyway, my substantive point this morning is this. The senator last night, and for me, but I find it's becoming more and more difficult to get through his speech. I know they're monitoring my number, whatever. But anyway, the senator came on last night on Beyond the Headline. And while I would prefer not to, have to endorse anything he said, I would like to endorse in terms of the role of GBN, not necessarily the specific situation, but I find if we said no carnival, notwithstanding I didn't like how it was done, the role GBN played in hyping up, in total gearing up people. I don't know if people don't understand psychology and emotional intelligence, but to me, through all the period, people were pumped up. And I'm not going into a specific incident which he felt offended. But the other thing about it is that I think we are very, and that's where the word dichotomous comes, we're very moral people, but yet we pretend to be moral. Our morality is immorality. Okay? Unfortunately. Because every day, day in, day out, people use a set of obscenity without any limit, without any restriction. And we pretend that doesn't happen. And then when it comes out in the open where everybody hears it at the same time, we're embarrassed. I said many times, even on this radio program, that we are pretending. By there's nothing wrong in pretending up to 11 years. After 11, if you're pretending, you have to know and admit you're pretending, but all of us are pretending. We're pretending that we have good governance. We're pretending we have this. We're pretending the hospital system is bad. Even the youth pretending that everything is okay, and the only thing that wasn't okay is jab. Now, let me say this. I listened to a program in Barbados last week, Sunday night, and the discipline the Bajans have, I really want to applaud them. The conversation these people have, a lot of it was critical about the government, but the way it was done, no one tried to bulldoze anybody. In fact, this thing was supposed to start 6:30, start after 7, and it went on out to 11. I don't think we could have that time here, unfortunately. But anyway, we're going to have one Sunday coming. Sunday on 6 o'clock. I'll send you the information. But Dr. Bowles is coming back to bring a little more clarity on the vaccination, and also Dr. what's her name again? Dr. Ben.
Okay.
The man from Trinidad, a lawyer, will be talking to us how we could push back that effort for the mandatory vaccine and stuff.
All right.
The rights that people have, and they've been trampled, and people don't know how to stand up without necessarily protesting and so on. We're not promoting protests. There's some basic things that you can do to safeguard yourself.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. Let me go to the social media before I return to the phone lines. Somebody on Facebook says you would never progress if you are not prepared to expand your vocabulary. All right, let me go to WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says in relation to... Hold on, wait, let me take the caller and then I'll come back to the WhatsApp comment. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Blossom. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
A good, man. A good. Long time you hear my voice.
Yes, it's been a while.
Well, here, this morning I have a brutal comment within reason. I'm calling on the Mr. Cyrus Griffith, the Labor Commissioner. Mr. Cyrus, I'm calling on you to resign. It's time that you resign. Mr. Cyrus, you're condoning victimization, bullying, abuse, vindictiveness, and the line goes on. And it's time that you resign. You see, Ms. Blossom, the domestic workers in Grenada who doesn't have a union. I'm talking about housekeeping, caregivers, construction workers, and so on, restaurant workers, and so on and so forth. And when there is a problem of any sort on the job, and the employees go to Mr. Griffith, Mr. Griffith will have Miss Lewis, to take the statement, and then she will tell the person, look, my hands are tied. I can't do nothing about it. So I have to put it to Mr. Griffith. Then when we go to Mr. Griffith will listen to you carefully. And he will repeatedly ask you the employer name and number. And Ms. Blossom, Mr. Griffith is going to call that employer. Talk to the employer and push you here, up, down, left, right, center. He's busy, he's thinking, he's working on it. And eventually, when they come back to you, they would say, look, it's in the hand now of the legal aid or legal something.
Caller,
yes.
I would caution against the comments you're making. Like you just mentioned, the legal aid. There are some statements that we shouldn't be making without proof.
Well, I have proof.
I don't have it.
Okay, all right. So
you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to get in trouble.
I respect that. And I thank you very much for your time. I'm asking Mr. Cyrus Griffith to resign.
Thank you very much, caller.
You're very welcome.
All right. You say you have proof, but sometimes we just need to be careful. I don't want to end up in problems. Joseph, you're disturbing me with the noise. Thank you very much. Have yourself a good day. All right, let me read some WhatsApp comments. Somebody on WhatsApp says, last night on Beyond the Headlines, Senator Humphrey called criticizing and downgrading Mrs. Campbell and the GBN. Read the live coverage of Juve. No, Senator Humphrey is really forgetting quickly. The same GBN that brought him live, lying down in the road, blocking the brewery's entrance and truck with his papi show. So Senator Humphrey, GBN is a news media that includes all, and that Juve showed the world how your leadership failed and is graded 0. Mrs. Campbell, just keep up the good work. Thank you for the live Juve, so we all saw what the world saw, a failing nation from the top. Good morning, caller.
Blossom, good morning.
Morning.
That was what I was going to talk about, but I'll take it further. I heard Chester Humphrey on Beyond the Headline last night blasting GBN from all angles and talking about people disrespecting others, but he failed to realize that the head of this place, or the man in charge of this place, blasted Kirani James' mother and father a few years ago, talking about these two little old people with rotten teeth in their mouth, and he'd buy shoes for the old man, and he'd buy a dandan for the old woman when Kirani was coming home when he got the gold. And he even talked about Mr. Tillman Thomas. The only time he ate a good piece of food was when he went to Trinidad. So abuse does come from the top. Bad mouthing does come from the top. So he should reverse his memory and think about what Keith Mitchell talked about Kieran, his parents, and Mr. Thomas. So if they abuse his mother, his father, his brother, and sister, take it. Your turn come, take it. Don't get vexed about it. And Chester, shut your mouth because you're bidding in a bucket.
Okay, thank you,
All right.
caller. Okay, Ollie, let's not get disrespectful. We can all share our thoughts and be cautious and careful with our words. Lord, good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm just...
Sorry, caller, just speak up a little bit. You're sounding low.
I have a slight concern.
Right, go ahead.
My concern is I know the virus is starting to be a little more in Grenada, you know. We have a few more cases. So I'm trying to find out what is the Ministry of Education have in place for the children because school opening very soon. So I would like to know what will be in place for the children because remember we say no crowded and this kind of a thing, and right now our school's crowded. So that's my substantial point. I'd just like to find out what will be in place for the children. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. That's a good question, a valid question. Okay, let me see. Okay, so firstly, health officials are facilitating this morning's post-cabinet briefing, which begins in just about 45 minutes or so. Minister of Health Nicholas Steele and the acting chief medical officer Dr. Sean Charles will be the facilitators. I am not exactly sure the specific points they'll be speaking about, but we would be, of course, getting some information re the COVID-19 cases as the numbers have ticked up in the last week or so. In relation to the cases, they are all except one are import related, which means they are all in isolation and or quarantine. So at least that is one aspect that we are kind of, that they're all locked away, for lack of a better phrase, and there's no chance from them, at least. I can't even say that either. But they are all in isolation and quarantine. In relation to the opening of school, usually just before the opening of this new school year, the Ministry of Education hosts or facilitates post-cabinet briefings. So school opens in just about 3 weeks or so. So if not next week, please the Lord, maybe week after, the Ministry of Education will facilitate post-cabinet briefing, and then we would be able to hear specifically what measures, if there are any, additional ones that will be taken when school reopens on the September 6th. So let's see what happens. Or maybe there'll be an education official in this morning's postcab. You never know what happens at postcab sometimes. So hopefully we can get that information at soonest so parents would know how to adjust and so on and so forth. All right, let me go to WhatsApp. I haven't been on WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, a very good interview with Mr. Bartholomew. That's the GUT president on Good Morning Grenada this morning. He's a very good speaker. He causes you to always listen to him. Good job to you both. Thank you very much, WhatsApper. All right, let me go to Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, Senator Humphrey should be the last to talk about disrespect. Another Facebooker says, I wish to put focus on English grammar and the use of tense. This morning, the president of the GUT said I would have received some calls from some people. His statement is not clear. My question is, did he receive the calls or did he not? If he did, then it should be, I received some calls. Grateful if you can get someone in studio to refresh us on grammar theory. Okay, that's something I can look into in terms of getting somebody here to remind us of proper English. And what you're highlighting is a concern that has been spoken about by one of our loyal listeners, Mr. Rollo, in relation to the use of the I would have and we would have received and so on, and what it means and the way that we use it out of context. So you're not the only one that shares that concern. Landline? No? Okay, so let me go back to... Okay, lies. Back to the landline. Good morning, caller.
Hello, morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you do?
Oh, good enough.
All right.
Just I know you didn't hear me.
Yes, it's been a while.
I'll not try getting through on what day it was. I think it was Friday or so. At one time the phone rang, but I didn't get through.
Oh, okay.
So there's that issue dealing with the COVID and what has been happening throughout the world, and especially in the Caribbean, where people have been resisting either to take the vaccine or resisting what is generally interpreted as bullying by various governments of the populace. Because we have a situation, the more you analyze this thing logically, dealing with the facts on the ground and the facts as it relates to the vaccine and the COVID, how it affects, the virus as it affects us. Listen to this, please. We are dealing with some vaccines that are, by the very manufacturers, are saying that is not 100% effective. The Russians are claiming to have had the most effective one. And that doesn't even reach 100%, to the extent that you have to take 2 shots in some cases. They are even talking now of a booster shot in various cases, or in dealing with various brand or whatever you might call it. The AstraZeneca, the Moderna, or whatever they call them, and so on. That's one aspect. The other aspect of it is that people are skeptical because it has been affecting some people in a adverse way. That creates reluctance. And I'm talking about this whole issue, conspiracy theory aside. Forget the conspiracy theory, all the suspicion and whatever. But to me, all are made up statement, made up stories. But the actual fact as it relates to the virus, here we have a population of over 7 billion. So far, over 500 million people have gotten the virus. Of that, the majority have recovered, not having taken the vaccine to recover. Here we are now saying that the vaccine is the way out. At the same time, the people who, like in the Grenada situation, people who have taken their 2 shots are coming down with the virus right now. So how you could convince people that the vaccine is the way out when the normal way of dealing with viruses is that the body immune system develops resistance to it, so that the people who have gotten the virus and survived, which is the vast majority of those who have gotten it anyway, are in a better state than those who are taking the vaccine, because they could be guaranteed not to get that virus again. It's normal, that's the way virus the body treat with virus. And so that the governments need to understand that. And it's not convincing right now to be trying to get people to believe that the vaccine is the way out, and if you don't take the vaccine, you lose your job and all this kind of a thing. They need to stop that. And I'm in support of the people who are resisting it from that angle. We really need to check on all these things that way.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you, caller. Let me see if I can read 2 comments before we go to the break. Let's go to Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, I read this one. So this one, somebody says, when Prime Minister Mitchell was making racist statements about Ambassador Newfield, Senator Humphrey should have talked about that. And somebody replied to that comment saying, he also said nurses and doctors in the hospital are thieves. All right, let me go to WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, when will Grenada's Banking Association go forward instead of backward? The banking hours are ridiculous. 8:30 to 2, it's time they do better. That's the bank. Come on, it have some things you must go inside for. Another WhatsApp comment. Somebody says, okay, hold on. It's a bad thing when people lose all respect for you, and that is what happened to the Minister of Health and this administration. Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back inside with some more. It's open phone line here on To The Point. We'll be right back.
Remember, if you have flu symptoms, do the right thing and stay at home to avoid giving it to others. Remember, you can be infectious up to a week after developing symptoms, so rest up and take it easy.
Looking for that injection of vibes and energy, of course? Well, I've got just that. Hi, my name is Gary, Mr. Smooth, and I'm inviting you to join me on the Hot Morning Show on Hot 98.5, 98.7 FM. Weekdays, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. I've got a healthy dose of your favorite and most infectious hits sampled with information, news, laughter, and all the other ingredients that go into making the hottest morning show on the radio, the Morning Heat. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit us up on WhatsApp, 435-7517. We've got topics, we've got discussions, calls, voice notes, and so much more. But I can't tell you everything. You gotta tune in. The Hot Morning Show on Hot FM 98.5, 98.7 with yours truly, Gary, Mr. Smooth. Kaboom!
Hey folks, you're invited to tune in to Grenada Music to the World program, hosted by Eugene Gittens on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9, Hot FM 98.5, 98.7, GBN TV, and all their social media platforms. The only...
Welcome back to The Point. It is open phone line here on the program, giving you viewers and listeners an opportunity to call us and share on any topic that you'd like to. Once again, the landline number 435-2041. The WhatsApp number is also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp. So far, so good today. And you can continue to post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on Facebook and YouTube. Let me go back to the landline. Morning caller. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. All right, lost that one. Let me go to WhatsApp one time. Somebody on WhatsApp says, the issues around the COVID vaccines are not simple ones. Be very careful of people who are dumbing it down to too much. Take your shot, get back your life. There are legal, social, moral, and medical aspects to it. Make sure you hear all perspectives before deciding what you should and should not do. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, doctor.
Morning, how you do?
I'm good. It seems as if we have theater this morning in GBN.
You understand?
I'm enjoying a little of the drama, but to our adults, let us be a little bit respectful when we make our comments. And as a proud parent, Blossom, even if sometimes people say that the previous administration didn't do anything, I'm eternally grateful for the book program. It has helped a lot in many ways to the children. It has caused parents to save a lot of money, those who took care of it. It was really good. And if we did and if we continue to take care of it, other children would benefit. And I'm eternally grateful. And Blossom, I'm missing the efforts of the NDC or whichever party this morning. I'm enjoying the open line, but I look forward to hearing the politicians on Tuesday.
I know, me too.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, caller. You do as well. I look forward to hearing them as well. Don't worry. Hopefully next week, God willing, we'll be back to regularly scheduled programs. Okay, that computer not cooperating with me very much. All right, let me go. YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, I agree with the individual on bank opening hours. They are not serving the working public. At least open every other Saturday. There was one financial institution that was doing that, opening every other Saturday. I'm trying to remember if they discontinued that off the top of my head. I think it was in Grenville. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Awesome, and to your followers on the various platforms. First of all, on the matter of disrespect, I do not think that anything can justify the use of obscenities and referring to people's mothers, body parts, and anything like that. There is nothing that can justify that. and we have to get that straight. It has no place in any public sphere, and nobody can justify behaving that way to anyone, irrespective of their office. However, on the matter, so that's that. On the matter of respect and disrespect, I do agree that the Prime Minister has shown a lot of disrespect and disdain for anyone who says things differently from him. He calls them all kinds of names: detractors, naysayers, just by expressing a different view to his. He even calls, at one time he referred to folks as armchair environmentalists. So we have to listen more to people and stop labeling people and stop calling them names, right? We have to respect one another. But no way we can justify obscenities and, this sort of thing that went on. I don't generally like to defend statements I've made or to what people may say, but I just want to clarify something in the interest of transparency and disclosure. Last Friday, I think it was, I spoke about the experience of someone who had come in and said that they were not vaccinated. And there was a caller or somebody on the social media who said I should have called the Ministry of Health first. Well, I did. From 8 o'clock, I was calling both the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism. Eventually, I got to the Ministry of Tourism at 8:30. I got the Ministry of Health about 8:45. I got the hotline. I sent a WhatsApp. I did everything I could do. So I didn't do that out of malice. I called. I even sent a WhatsApp. I got no response up to today from the WhatsApp message asking what should I do in that case. And I have evidence to show I actually took that person who happened to be my brother from the UK and paid $300 for a test because I was the one to transport him up to his destination, and I did not want to transport someone to a destination in my car who I was not sure was tested. So I did everything I needed. It was a responsible citizen. I called them. I said to them, look at what the situation is. This is what the person is saying. What do I do? To date, I have not had a response from them. I took on my own, got the person tested, got a negative test from them, and then brought them to their destination. So those who are wondering why I didn't call, I did call several times. And I spoke to persons in both. And I must say that the Ministry of Health and the Tourism Authority have been very good. They have been very, very good at intervening on the behalf of many persons, and I cannot complain about them. As a matter of fact, the Ministry of the Tourism Authority got back to me and said that I have forwarded your query to my supervisor, who has promised to expedite the matter on your behalf. I actually got a call back from that young lady there. So they were doing a pretty good job. The fiasco that happened at the airport was not their fault. But I take my hats off to those young people who are working in those departments. I had nothing against them, but I did what I was supposed to do. I was being a responsible citizen, and I spent money just to ensure that myself and the country was safe by testing that person who I had doubts about. Okay? Just wanted to clear the air.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. In relation to the airport thing, I promised to investigate. I'm using my own word this morning. I don't think it could be found in the dictionary. I investigated in relation to the to the test shortage at the airport. I understand that one of the employees at the airport left the facility and went to the Ministry of Health and returned with some PCR tests in a matter of, was it 20 minutes or so? So while people were waiting to be tested, they did acquire tests and were able to get them back to the facility to test arriving visitors. I also understand that the people tested at the airport are people who are fully vaccinated because I don't know what the announcement will be, but as of, let's say now, as of at this moment, only fully vaccinated people will be given about 48 hours in quarantine. So they're tested at the airport so that they're able to leave the facilities in 2 days. The people who are unvaccinated and are going to the quarantine sites for 7 days are not tested at the airport. So that accounts for some of the people who were not tested at the facility. I'm not saying that the situation did not occur. I'm just the information that I've received in relation to tests and test shortage and who was tested and who were not and such and yada, yada, yada. So while there was a chaotic scene, not last week, but week before, it was not all as bad as some of the reports that were coming out stated. So hopefully that shed some light for some of you. Back to the landline. Morning caller.
Hi, Mr. Alexis. Morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
Yes, I just want to find out something. What is Grenada population as to date?
I am not too sure. The number they've been floating around is between 100 and 110,000.
All right. Well, I was talking with a friend last night, and he asked me the same question, and he told me let him Google it. And he told me when he Googled it, he was surprised. I would like you to do a look-up on it to make sure, because he said in 1960, Grenada population was 99,000. You see, as 2019, it was 112. So I see 1960 to 2019, it's 112. I say, wow, I see that ain't plenty at all. And he did something for me with St. Lucia. He said St. Lucia in 1960 was 99,000. In 2019, St. Lucia is at about 186 or 189,000. 82. So I'm pretty much surprised as to the growth in Grenada population. And with that, it tells me, how could our economy grow?
Okay.
So, I just wanted to do a look up on it for me, and maybe you could give me a little feedback while you're on the program.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
No problem. Well, I did follow instructions, or as suggested, in terms of Google. Google says the estimated population is 112,523 in July 2020. Key to that is estimated. Population censuses. No, that wasn't right. But the population census that are conducted gives you an estimate, an average, a guesstimate, based on the information that you acquire. So it could be more, it could be less than 112,000. And I recall a few months, if not a year ago, there was at least 2 Caribbean countries that spoke of the need for people to have more children. I'm trying to remember. I think that call was made for Grenada as well. I think it was Grenada, Dominica, and what was the other one? Was it St. Vincent? There were calls for the population to increase, for people to have more children. So maybe that needs to take place. All right, let me see. Oh, there's a comment on the YouTube. Somebody says, I'm home listening, people, and I can't believe my ears. People fail to understand. People all over the world are listening them bashing the Prime Minister. Come on, people, we're too uneducated. Facebook. Why some of these banks want Grenadians living abroad to put 30% on purchases and Grenadians at home put down 10%. Why? Because you're abroad. We want to make sure that you are able to financially support the purchase you're making. And next thing we tell you 10% and you don't complete the transaction. We want to ensure that we have a little bit more security because you're a little further to reach than the people at home. Something like that. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Blossom. Just ahead of the caller who asked about the population thing, and then I'll add one little thing I want to mention.
Only 1 minute you have.
Yeah, the thing about it is that I was told by a former tourism official when I was on a panel discussion some years ago that the actual figure that was first touted about Grenada, maybe around the 60s, wasn't a really accurate figure. It was given so that we could get aid So that is something we need to clarify. The other thing about it is that we are a migrant nation, so people are always moving. We export people, so that is one of the reasons for the disparity in, the kind of concern about the population. In addition, that people been practicing, family planning, so all of that could be taken into consideration. The final point I have, I think I'm forgetting it now, but gosh, I forget, and it's so important. Hold your bottom. Please help us. All the talk they're talking, nothing has been done to ensure that people are secure when they're traveling on the bus or have some level of comfort. We must do something to ensure that when people go in the bus, there's some level of comfort, whether people wearing masks, whether that we should make mandatory.
Okay.
Masks and sanitization.
All right.
For those people to get vaccinated. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, let me see. Not WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook. Somebody on Facebook asks, how much money is the government making from those tests and what are they doing with the money? The PCR tests, I'm not sure how much money they're making, but they're using it to help further pay for some of these COVID-19 things, like get more tests, more solutions for the tests, and other things related to COVID-19 primarily. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Well, for the Ministry of Health to do a general testing, test the whole nation, people. And if there is a bit of the virus spreading right now, it will not by nobody grace. So test the whole nation. The little population is small. Look at doing a short time. China test a few million people in a few days. Million people in a few days. China do that, you know. So like the government, they say, test every Grenadian. So anybody who, open up the country in any case, so who coming in with the virus, we put them on our manners. But give country, fill up the country, test everybody. So we know when the virus free in Grenada and free, what they call it, but the name of itself. In any case, have a blessed day.
Thank you, caller. You do the same. Let me go to WhatsApp. Somebody says, good point made, read the grammar. Would have is a conditional tense. It must be used when something did not happen because of a condition. For example, I would have gone to the bedroom if it did not rain. But if you did go to the beach, you can just simply say, I went to the beach. Yeah, they add words when they don't need to. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, I think the population is good. Still on WhatsApp, somebody says, Senator Humphrey talks as if the youths are his enemies, which is more harmful. Youths with guns marching through the town and countryside, or youths having fun using bad words. Is he forgetting how it was during the PRG times? I do not approve of bad words from anyone, but guns? All right, let's take another break and then we're going to come back and wind down this morning's To The Point program. We will be right back.
Remember, if you have flu symptoms, do the right thing and stay at home to avoid giving it to others. Remember, you can be infectious up to a week after developing symptoms, so rest up and take it easy.
Looking for that injection of vibes and energy, of course? Well, I've got just that. Hi, my name is Gary, Mr. Smooth, and I'm inviting you to join me on the Hot Morning Show on Hot 98.5, 98.7 FM. Weekdays, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. I've got a healthy dose of your favorite and most infectious hits sampled with information, news, laughter, and all the other ingredients that go into making the hottest morning show on the radio, The Morning Heat. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit us up on WhatsApp, 435-7517. We've got topics, we've got discussions, calls, voice notes, and so much more. But I can't tell you everything. You gotta tune in. The Hot Morning Show on Hot FM 98.5, 98.7 with yours truly, Gary, Mr. Smooth. Kaboom!
This is a plastic bag. From February 1st, These bags are not to be used when shopping for food. So here's what you should do.
Welcome back to The Point. We're winding down this morning's open phone line. Once again, the landline number 435-2041. WhatsApp, it's also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp. And you can continue to post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on Facebook and YouTube. Right back to the landline. Good morning, caller.
Pleasant good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How you do?
I'm wonderful. I have something on my chest. No, I don't know if probably you can investigate, but we want something just came to my mind strongly a while ago. Of course, the Ministry of Labor might be able to help us with an answer. You could do your own investigation. Now, concerning some of the call centers in Grenada, of which I used to work for one. Now, if we are working according to the American days or the American system where, sometimes let's say we have a holiday in Grenada and we still have to go to work, I could understand that. And the 8 hours on the compound, I could understand that. But how come people are not being paid in the American dollars? You understand? If we work in according to how the Americans work, the 8 hours is like you have to be on a compound 8 hours with your 1 hour lunch, of course, of which I think in Grenada is 7 hours and your 1 hour lunch. Now, if the pay us in US and converted to EC, let us get the EC equivalent instead of getting the bare Grenada pay grade and working in an American system. We should get the US money paid here too. Anyway, that's my contribution.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller.
Okay.
So you're working on the US, not regulations, but with US timing, but getting paid in in Grenada dollars. Okay, I see what you're saying. Let's see if I can investigate. Lost all you know how they just get out already when they're saying my things and how I influence and so and so. Lord, but I hear what you're saying, caller. I hear what you're saying. Good point. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Blossom, you see that word investiquire? Whether it's in joke or in serious, I'm asking you please to let us cut it out right now. You see this word thing that's going on there? It started since between 2004 and 2008, and it moved right through. This is 2021, and we can't stop it. So please, some people may want to keep on repeating investiquire, and the next thing you know, Grenada having problem to get rid of the word investiquire. You use the word covidious. I like covidious. You started covidious. This is your word, and I love it. But please, no investiquire. Please, please, please. Thank you very much.
I did encourage nobody to use investiquire. That is my word. I've been using it for a little while, and it hasn't caught on yet. So, Lord. All right. Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, the Prime Minister lucky that he is only bashed here. Look at what's happening to the Prime Minister of St. Vincent. Right. Look at what's happening to the Prime Minister of St. Vincent. Hopefully Grenadians are more civilized and more respectful of those in authority, and we won't get to that level. Fingers crossed. So let's not pick up that habit or that activity at all. Fingers crossed. Then again, Prime Minister Mitchell's security is top notch, so he want nothing with secure. Still on Facebook, somebody says the Prime Minister Steele, Dr. Okay. The Prime Minister, Minister Steele, Dr. Mitchell, and Dr. Martin said, take the jab if you want to play jab. Some of the youths went and took the jab, and Tuesday and Monday they played jab, as the Prime Minister said. So tell me how the vaccinated youths broke the law of no carnival. They play as was promised by the administration, so tell them stop pointing fingers. Another Facebooker says, I thought we were going forward, ever backward never. We don't have to forget the past, but we do not have to dwell on it, just as anyone with their personal relationship. Let me go back to WhatsApp before I go back to the landline. Somebody on WhatsApp says, though I respect I think that would be a previous caller or the last caller? That would be a previous caller. Though I respect the previous caller's opinion, but is he willing to assist the government financially with the tests? Another WhatsApper, the police could have arrested and charged any jab because it was not a legal carnival, and went on beyond the headlines last night. This remark about students will or may disrespect teachers who play jab is putting words in students' mouths. Good morning, caller.
Morning again, Pastor.
Morning.
Relative to that subject matter of population, I came back here in 2012, and there's my good friend Hayman in Grannan, who brought up that subject matter to me, that Grenada does not have enough people to sustain a developing economy. And since then, my mind has been pickled, and I think about it all the time. About 2 years ago, I passed by a school, the school in the village, River Sally Village, and it was break time. And I looked in the past there, and there was maybe about 25 children playing. And I said, hey, what's going on here? Where's the children? A guy said to me, but you don't know he doesn't have children in that school? And since then, I've been having that conversation with people. And a lot of times I meet two ladies. I might be in an area where there are 2-3 ladies, and I bring up that conversation all the time. Recently, I've had a conversation with maybe about 4 ladies talking about that. We doesn't have enough people, and people are not making enough children. And I keep hearing again that a lot of schools are very deficient in terms of numbers.
Okay.
And we have a serious problem that the ladies need to look at that.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you.
All right. Caller, first of all, it's not the ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, don't try to trick me. It takes two to tango. You hear? You hear? The ladies need to think about that. Okay. So let these gentlemen make us increase the population and go by the business. No. It takes two to tango, two to make a child. It's ladies and gentlemen. Secondly, not everybody in a financial, emotional, mental, physical state to help increase the population. Some people cool with one child. Some people say, I want to have many children. But when they have the first one and they see what it takes, they're like, okay, I good. Like me, sir, I good. With my one pick-me, I good. So it's not as easy as saying the population needs to increase, let's have more. There are people who could only afford one, who only wants one, who can only take care of one, and there are others who are having 5 and 6. It balances out. We go where we hand could reach we hat, and that's it. It's not as easy to say increase the population and done that. And again, it's not just the ladies. Don't try to trick me. Don't try to trick my caller. All right, let me read final comments as we wrap up because we need to prepare for the broadcast of this morning's post-cabinet briefing. Somebody on YouTube. Somebody on YouTube says people in Grenada have no jobs. Where would they find food to feed more children? Some people in Grenada have no jobs. Another YouTuber says Grenada doesn't have enough people to support the modern structure of an economy based on debt. We have enough people, just not enough people to support their system. The finance system is going to crash. Our banking system is flawed. This is old news. We're going to Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says this government is doing census now so they can tell the World Health Organization how many people have died in Grenada since COVID-19. All this is about depopulating the world. Really? All right. Another Facebooker says the teacher hopes you won't influence local parlance. That would have the incorrect use of the conditional perfect is annoying. It changes the meaning of the message. Another Facebooker says there are more people vaccinated than recorded. Some people got vaccinated outside. I believe if there are options, more people will be vaccinated. All right, let me see if I can read 2 comments on WhatsApp as we wind down. WhatsApper says... Hold on. A WhatsApper says... It seems that only Caucasians should create new words. All right, and another final one that I can read. There was another comment in this. Final one that I can read. GBN did a great job and looking next for more coverage. All right, that's all the time we have this morning, viewers and listeners. Thank you so very much for tuning in to good. There was another comment. There it is. People want to shut up and criticize GBN, but they did not do anything wrong concerning the Juve. The main thing was the standoff and they went off. We have a duty to broadcast what's happening. We did our best to conceal the audio from a lot of these chants, including here on Good Morning Grenada. But it was something that many people wanted to tune into and to witness, and we provided that coverage for those of you who were offended by it. Probably should have just turn off the TV. I don't know. If you're not interested in something, whether viewing or listening, explore your options and find something better suited for you. I don't know why people continue to participate in things that upset you when you have options. That goes for everything, not just the Juve coverage. Do what makes you happy. Anything that don't make you happy, feel free to change the channel, change your radio station, turn off the TV, go in your bed, go outside and watch the scenery. But do what makes you happy and stop watching things to upset you and then call in to express your upset, to upset you more. Do what makes you happy. That's my wish for you for the rest of this Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, in just about 2 minutes, we join the GIS coverage for this morning's post-cabinet briefing, which will be facilitated by Minister of Health Nicholas Steele and Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles. I'll be back tomorrow morning, God willing. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody.